Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. What if I told you that the very thing stealing away your firmness, your spark, your confidence in the bedroom is not age, but neglect? Imagine hearing that the reason your most intimate moments feel weaker is not because you're old, but because your body is starved of one simple natural remedy that could change everything. That's right. While so many men rush to pills or accept decline as their fate, the truth is a single daily cup, brewed right at home, can often do what prescriptions cannot: restore your strength, your drive, and your dignity. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, a urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience. I've dedicated my career to helping men just like you reclaim vitality after 60. And I've seen firsthand that solutions don't always come from the pharmacy. They often come from nature, waiting for us to rediscover them. Here's the paradox. Most men believe their only option for erectile dysfunction is medication. Yet science shows that plants and herbs, when prepared correctly, can relax blood vessels, free up testosterone, and reignite the very foundation of male performance. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But that's the power of nature. So let me make you a promise. In this video, I will reveal a natural, science-backed drink, what I call homemade Viagra, that any man can prepare in minutes. 1 cup a day to support firmer erections, greater energy, and lasting intimacy. And if you stay with me, I'll also share a complete 3T routine that works on every layer of male performance: circulation, hormones, nerves, and stress. This is where your true comeback begins. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the health advice I create specifically for men over 60. And I'd love to hear from you. If this video speaks to you, type YES in the comments. If not, type NO and let me know how I can make it more helpful for you. Now let's begin with the first truth you need to understand. Erectile dysfunction after 60 isn't simply aging, it's a signal. Your body is telling you something is out of balance, and when we look closely, the real culprits are circulation, nerves, hormones, and stress working against you. 1. Why erectile dysfunction isn't just aging. For most men, the first time they notice a difference in their erections, there's a sinking feeling in the pit of the stomach. You try to shrug it off, maybe even laugh it away. You think, well, I'm getting older. This must be normal. But deep down, it hurts. It touches more than your body. It touches your confidence, your pride, even the way you look at yourself in the mirror. And I want to tell you something very important. It doesn't have to be this way. Erectile dysfunction is not simply a matter of age. It is not a life sentence stamped on you once you cross into your 60s or 70s. It is, in fact, a message from your body, a whisper saying, pay attention. Something needs support. I've been a doctor for over 3 decades, and I've had men in their late 60s, 70s, even 80s sit across from me with tears in their eyes, telling me they feel like less of a man because their firmness is fading. They believe their best days of intimacy are behind them. They carry that shame in silence, often not even sharing it with the person they love most. And do you know what I tell them? I look them in the eye and say, this isn't just aging. This is biology, and biology can be supported. It can be improved. The truth is, an erection is one of the most precise indicators of your overall health. It's not just about desire or passion. It's about blood vessels that can open wide to let in circulation. It's about nerves that fire signals quickly and sharply. It's about hormones, especially testosterone, being in the right balance. And it's about stress levels, because the mind and the body are deeply connected. When even one of these systems is under strain, the whole chain weakens. That is why erections often fade. Not because of a birthday on the calendar, but because circulation, hormones, nerves, and stress are colliding against you all at once. Let's take blood flow, for example. Your penis is filled with delicate arteries, smaller than the ones in your heart or brain. If those arteries get stiff, if plaque begins to build up, or if nitric oxide levels drop, blood simply cannot rush in the way it once did. It's like trying to water your garden with a kink in the hose. You turn on the faucet, but nothing really flows. Now imagine this same principle with nerve signals. As we age, if we develop diabetes, high blood pressure, or even long-term stress, those signals weaken. The messages from the brain that once said, "let's get ready," are muffled, delayed, or lost. Add in hormonal shifts, like higher levels of SHBG tying up your testosterone, or cortisol spiking because of chronic stress, and the environment is stacked against your erections. But here's the critical part. None of this is fixed in stone. The human body is remarkable in its resilience. Arteries can be coaxed into flexibility, nerves can regain sharpness, hormones can be rebalanced, stress can be calmed. I've watched men who thought they were finished rediscover energy, drive, and intimacy simply by giving their bodies the right support. And it's often not about massive changes or invasive procedures. Sometimes it's about the smallest, simplest shifts in daily routine. The food you eat, the way you move, the quality of your sleep, and yes, even what you drink. That's why I want you to think differently about erectile dysfunction. Don't see it as the end of the road, see it as a signal. Just as chest pain makes you pay attention to your heart, or back pain makes you adjust how you move, erectile changes are your body's way of calling for attention. And the beauty of it is, when you listen, when you start nourishing your body with the right tools, you don't just fix erections. You improve circulation through your whole body. You lower blood pressure. You boost energy. You lift your mood. The benefits spill over into every corner of your life. I can tell you, some of the happiest conversations I've ever had with patients are not just about erections coming back. They're about a man walking in and saying, "Doc, I feel alive again. I wake up with energy. I'm sleeping better. I laugh more. And yes, my intimacy has returned." That's the transformation that happens when you refuse to accept the myth of inevitable decline. So, the first truth you must hold on to is this. Erectile dysfunction after 60 is not just aging, it is a signal, and signals can be answered. The question is how. And that brings us to the exciting part, the science-backed natural remedy that can support your body in ways most men never expect. A simple, powerful drink that begins to restore what time and stress have taken away. Curious? Let's dive in. 2. The science of natural, homemade Viagra. When men first hear the phrase homemade Viagra, they usually smile, sometimes even laugh. It sounds almost too simple, too good to be true. After all, for years we've been taught that erectile dysfunction can only be managed with little blue pills or expensive prescriptions. But let me tell you something I've learned over decades of listening to men's stories and studying the science. Nature has been providing solutions long before pharmaceuticals existed, and in many cases, those natural solutions work with the body rather than against it, restoring balance instead of forcing a reaction. Think for a moment about what an erection really is. It isn't magic. It's blood rushing into delicate chambers of tissue, filling them under pressure until firmness is achieved. That process requires 3 critical things to happen in harmony. First, your arteries must be open and flexible enough to deliver blood at the exact moment it's needed. Second, your nerves must send clear, sharp signals from your brain down to your pelvis, telling your body to respond. And third, your hormones, especially testosterone, must be balanced, fueling desire, drive, and vitality. If even one of these systems falters, the whole process feels weaker, slower, or inconsistent. Now here's where it gets fascinating. Inside your body is a molecule called nitric oxide. This is the natural chemical that tells your blood vessels to relax and open wide. It's the spark that allows blood to rush in and create an erection. Without enough nitric oxide, your arteries remain stiff and closed, like doors that refuse to open. But when nitric oxide is plentiful, those doors swing wide and the flow of life returns. Pharmaceutical drugs like Viagra work by boosting nitric oxide pathways. But what most men don't realize is that certain plants and herbs can do the very same thing, naturally, gently, and without side effects. When you brew the right teas, you release compounds that act almost like messengers inside your body. These compounds signal your arteries to expand, reduce the silent inflammation that damages blood vessels, and protect the delicate lining of your circulatory system. They also free up testosterone, unlocking the form your body can actually use to restore confidence and drive. The effect isn't just physical, it's emotional. Men often tell me that after a few weeks of adding these natural drinks into their routine, they feel sharper, more focused, even lighter in mood. That's because these remedies touch every part of your biology: circulation, hormones, nerves, and stress. I remember one patient in particular, a man in his late 60s who had quietly avoided intimacy for years. He came to me not just with erectile struggles, but with fatigue, high blood pressure, and a heavy sense of defeat. We talked about medication, but he wanted something gentler, something that wouldn't come with a list of side effects. I encouraged him to begin with one simple change: a daily cup of a tea rich in antioxidants and circulation boosters. He was skeptical, but he agreed. 3 weeks later, he walked into my office with a smile I hadn't seen before. He said, "Doc, I don't know if it's the tea, but I feel alive again. My energy is back." My wife notices the difference too. That story isn't unique. It's what happens when you give your body the natural fuel it's been missing. And here's another thing worth noting. Unlike pills that wear off after a few hours, natural remedies work by building up your foundation. They restore flexibility to your arteries day by day. They lower blood pressure gradually, ease stress, and improve sleep. They don't just create an erection on command. They create the environment where strong, lasting erections become possible again. That's why I call it homemade Viagra. Because with a simple cup, brewed at home, you can tap into the same biological pathways without the risks that so many men worry about. So the science is clear. Erectile dysfunction isn't just about desire, it's about biology. And biology can be supported with what you choose to put into your body. Now the question becomes, what exactly should you drink and how should you prepare it so you get the maximum benefit? This is where things get exciting, because the first tea I want to introduce you to has been used for centuries, yet most men don't realize it's sitting on grocery store shelves right now, waiting to clean their arteries and free their testosterone. Let's talk about green tea. 3. Tea number 1. Green tea, the artery cleaner and testosterone liberator. When I talk to men about natural remedies, many of them look at me with surprise when I mention green tea. They say, "Green tea? Really, doc? Isn't that just something you drink when you're trying to lose weight or relax?" And I smile, because I know what they don't yet realize. Inside that simple green leaf is a powerhouse of compounds that can quite literally change the way your blood flows, the way your hormones function, and the way you feel as a man. The truth is, green tea is far from ordinary. It has been treasured for centuries in Asia, not just as a calming drink, but as medicine for vitality. And now modern science is finally catching up to what ancient cultures already knew. Here's what makes green tea so special. It's loaded with antioxidants called catechins. Think of catechins as the janitors of your arteries. They move through your bloodstream and scrub away the sticky plaque that clogs blood vessels. Over time, as plaque builds up, your arteries lose their flexibility. They become stiff, narrow, and less responsive. That's why so many men over 60 notice weaker erections. The blood simply can't get where it needs to go. Catechins help reverse that process. They restore elasticity, clean the pipes, and allow blood to surge freely again. Imagine unclogging a blocked hose and suddenly seeing water gush out. That's what green tea does inside your body. But circulation is only part of the story. Green tea also impacts one of the most overlooked aspects of male health: the balance of free testosterone. Many men assume that if their blood test shows normal testosterone levels, they're fine. But here's the catch. Much of that testosterone is bound up by a protein called SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin. When testosterone is locked up by SHBG, it's like money in a vault. You can see it, but you can't spend it. Your body can't use it to fuel desire, confidence, or performance. What green tea does is reduce SHBG, freeing up more active testosterone. That means your body suddenly has access to the hormone that drives energy, motivation, and yes, erections. I can't tell you how many times I've had patients start drinking green tea daily and come back to me with stories that go beyond the bedroom. They tell me, "Doc, I'm sharper at work. My mood is more even. I'm not as irritable. I have more stamina when I play with my grandkids." These benefits happen because testosterone doesn't just control sexual health. It influences nearly every aspect of how alive and engaged you feel. And when you add better blood flow on top of it, the results can be remarkable. Now, preparation matters. Too many men make the mistake of pouring boiling water over green tea leaves and letting it sit until it's bitter and unpleasant. That ruins the delicate compounds you actually need. The key is to heat your water just before boiling, about 175 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit, and steep for only 2 to 3 minutes. That way, the catechins remain intact. Add a squeeze of lemon. The vitamin C helps your body absorb those antioxidants more effectively. Skip the sugar and cream because they undo the very benefits you're trying to gain. If you need sweetness, a touch of raw honey is enough. And timing is important. Drink it in the morning or early afternoon for a gentle lift that won't disturb your sleep. Aim for 2 to 3 cups daily, making it part of your ritual, like brushing your teeth or taking a morning walk. When I see a man make this shift, I notice more than just physical changes. I see a light return to his eyes. I see his shoulders stand taller. I see a confidence that was buried under years of frustration begin to rise again. Because when you clean your arteries and free your testosterone, you don't just improve erections, you improve the way you carry yourself through life. And that's the real gift of something as simple as green tea. So yes, it may look ordinary on the grocery shelf, but don't let that fool you. Inside each cup is a medicine chest of compounds designed to restore vitality. And if green tea is the foundation, the cleaner of arteries and liberator of testosterone, then the next tea I'm going to share with you is like the engine driving stamina, energy, and endurance in ways men often think they've lost forever. Let's talk about ginseng. 4. Tea number 2, ginseng tea, the stamina builder. When men tell me they feel too tired for intimacy, too drained by the end of the day, I know exactly what they mean. It's not always that they've lost desire, it's that the energy simply isn't there anymore. They crawl into bed feeling heavy, distracted, and worn out from the weight of life. And I tell them, you don't need to give up. Your body isn't done yet. What you need is fuel, and one of the most powerful natural fuels I've ever seen is ginseng. For thousands of years, ginseng has been called man root, a plant so respected in Asian medicine that it was worth its weight in gold. Warriors and emperors alike believed it restored vitality, sharpened the mind, and strengthened the spirit. And now modern science shows us exactly why this reputation has endured. Ginseng is a natural nitric oxide booster, just like green tea, but it works on another level as well. It penetrates deep into your cells and improves how your body produces energy. That means you don't just get stronger erections, you get stronger stamina in every aspect of your life. Think about what stamina really means. It's not only about lasting longer in intimacy, though that's certainly important. It's about waking up with fuel in your tank. It's about having the drive to tackle your day, the strength to enjoy your hobbies, the patience to connect with your family. When a man loses stamina, life begins to shrink. He avoids activities he once loved. He makes excuses. And intimacy becomes one more thing he sets aside because he simply doesn't feel up to it. Ginseng changes that. By supporting energy production at the cellular level, it revives that spark. It's like turning back the dial on fatigue and rediscovering the ability to live fully. But stamina isn't only physical, it's also emotional. One of the unique gifts of ginseng is that it's an adaptogen. That means it helps your body adapt to stress by lowering cortisol, the stress hormone that wreaks havoc on your health. High cortisol not only robs you of calmness, it directly sabotages erections by constricting blood vessels and blunting arousal. Men under constant stress often find they want intimacy but can't perform when the time comes. Their mind races, their body tenses, and everything falls flat. Ginseng steps into that cycle and helps restore balance. It calms the nervous system, steadies energy, and clears away the mental fog that stress leaves behind. I recall a man in his early 70s who came to see me, complaining not just of erectile dysfunction, but of constant fatigue. He told me, "Doc, I can barely make it through dinner before I want to collapse." How could I possibly think about intimacy? We added ginseng tea to his routine, just 1 cup in the late afternoon. Within a month, he reported feeling like a new man. His words still stay with me. It's not just that my erections are better, It's that I feel like myself again. My wife says I laugh more, I don't snap as easily, and I actually look forward to our evenings together. That is the power of stamina. It restores not only your ability to perform, but your ability to connect. Now, the preparation is simple. 1 to 2 grams of dried ginseng root or a high-quality tea bag, steeped in hot water for about 5 minutes, releases the compounds your body needs. The flavor is earthy, sometimes bitter, so a little honey can help. The best time to drink it is in the afternoon or early evening. Too late, and you may feel too energized at bedtime. But right in the middle of the day, it gives you steady energy that carries into the evening, setting the stage for intimacy without exhaustion or distraction. And here's the most inspiring part. Once men feel that stamina return, once they realize they're not too tired, not too drained, not too stressed, something remarkable happens. They stop avoiding intimacy. They stop making excuses. They lean into life again, knowing they have the energy to enjoy it. Ginseng doesn't just restore performance, it restores presence. So if green tea is the cleaner, clearing away the blockages and freeing testosterone, ginseng is the engine, powering you forward with strength and calm. But there's still one more piece of this puzzle. Because even with energy and circulation, if your blood pressure is high and your sleep is broken, your body will still struggle to perform. That's why the next tea may be the most surprising of all, a ruby red brew that lowers blood pressure, restores calm, and prepares your body for deep, restorative rest. Let's talk about hibiscus. 5. Tea number 3. Hibiscus tea, the blood pressure and sleep restorer. I'll never forget a conversation I had with a man in his mid-60s. He looked healthy at first glance, but as we talked, he admitted something many men try to hide. "Doc," he said quietly, "I can't keep it up anymore. And the harder I try, the more anxious I get. Then I can't sleep, and the cycle just gets worse." His story is one I've heard countless times. Weakening erections don't just rob a man of intimacy, they rob him of rest. And without rest, the body cannot heal, hormones cannot balance, and confidence slowly slips away. That's why one of my favorite remedies for men in this situation is something most never expect: hibiscus tea. When you first see hibiscus tea, it looks like a jewel. The petals release a deep, ruby red color that feels almost medicinal before you even take a sip. And then there's the taste: tangy, refreshing, slightly floral. But the true power of hibiscus is in what it does inside your body. It is packed with anthocyanins, the same antioxidants found in blueberries and cranberries, and these compounds are a gift to your blood vessels. They reduce inflammation, protect the delicate lining of your arteries, and most importantly, lower blood pressure naturally. Now you may wonder, what does blood pressure have to do with erections? Everything. High blood pressure silently damages the arteries that carry blood into your penis. Over time, those vessels lose their ability to relax and expand, and even if you feel desire, the blood cannot flow strongly enough to create the firmness you want. Many men don't realize that their performance struggles are tied directly to those rising numbers on the blood pressure cuff. Hibiscus steps in like a gentle healer. It helps restore flexibility to your vessels, lowers the strain, and makes it possible for blood to surge freely again. But hibiscus doesn't stop there. It also has a calming effect on the nervous system. After years of listening to men share their struggles, I've learned that anxiety and stress are often just as damaging as physical changes. The man who lies awake at night worrying about whether he'll be able to perform is the same man whose body refuses to cooperate the next day. Hibiscus helps quiet that storm. It encourages the body to shift out of stress mode and into a state of relaxation where arousal can naturally happen. And here's another key point: sleep. Deep, restorative sleep is when your body produces the majority of its testosterone. Without it, your hormones fall out of balance, your energy dwindles, and your erections weaken further. That's why hibiscus tea, taken in the evening, is so powerful. It not only relaxes blood vessels, but also prepares your body for the kind of rest that restores hormone production and renews vitality. Many men who start drinking hibiscus tea in the evening tell me they not only sleep more deeply, but they wake up with more morning firmness, a clear sign that their body is repairing itself. I had one patient, a retired teacher, who came to me frustrated after years of restless nights and low energy. He tried hibiscus tea simply as a way to improve his sleep. Within weeks, he noticed something he hadn't felt in years. He was waking up refreshed, his blood pressure numbers were dropping, and intimacy with his wife felt natural again instead of forced. He told me, "Doc, I never thought a simple cup of tea could make this much difference." And that is the beauty of hibiscus. It works quietly, gently, but powerfully. Preparation is simple. Steep dried hibiscus petals or a quality tea bag in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes. Let it release that beautiful deep red color and drink it in the evening, ideally after dinner or before bed. No caffeine, no stimulants, just a soothing, restorative ritual that signals to your body that it's time to rest, to heal, and to restore strength. So think about this for a moment. With green tea in the morning, ginseng in the afternoon, and hibiscus at night, you're not just sipping drinks. You're building a daily rhythm that cleanses your arteries, fuels your stamina, lowers your blood pressure, and restores your sleep. And when all of those pieces come together, your body has no choice but to respond with vitality, confidence, and power. But how do you put this into practice in a way that's simple, repeatable, and effective? That's where the 3T daily routine comes in, a routine that can transform your kitchen into your very own performance pharmacy. 6. The 3T routine plus food allies. When I share these 3 T's with men, the question I always hear next is, "Doc, how do I put this all together? How do I make this work in real life without overcomplicating things?" And my answer is always the same: simplicity. The body thrives on rhythm, on rituals that repeat day after day. When you align your daily routine with nature's clock, the benefits multiply. That is exactly why I recommend a 3T routine, one that matches your body's natural needs from sunrise to bedtime, a rhythm that restores strength and performance without effort or confusion. It begins in the morning with green tea. I like to think of green tea as your daily reset, the cleaner that sweeps away yesterday's buildup and prepares your arteries for a fresh start. By drinking it early in the day, you not only unclog your circulation, but also free up your testosterone at the exact moment your body is ready to use it. Patients often tell me that when they start their mornings this way, they feel more awake, sharper in their thinking, and lighter in their mood. One man described it to me as turning the lights back on, a sense of clarity that stayed with him all day. In the afternoon, when fatigue begins to creep in and stress has a way of weighing you down, that's when ginseng comes in. It doesn't jolt you like caffeine. Instead, it fuels you from within, giving you steady energy without the crash. For many men, this cup becomes the difference between dragging themselves through the evening and actually having the stamina to enjoy life. I had a patient in his late 60s who told me, "Doc, afternoons used to be the hardest. I'd sit in my chair and drift off. Now with ginseng, I feel alive, and when evening comes, I actually have the energy to be present with my wife." That is not just a physical shift, it is an emotional victory. And then, as the day winds down, comes hibiscus tea. That ruby red cup is not just beautiful to look at, it's the signal to your body that it's time to relax, to let go of the tension you've carried, and to prepare for healing sleep. Drinking it in the evening lowers blood pressure, eases your nerves, and allows your body to enter deep, restorative rest. Men are often surprised by how something so simple can change the way they sleep. They wake up not only more rested, but often noticing firmer morning erections, a clear sign that their body is repairing itself. Together, these 3 T's form a cycle that nourishes every part of male performance: circulation in the morning, stamina in the afternoon, restoration at night. It's not complicated, it's not something you'll forget. It becomes a ritual, as natural as brushing your teeth or saying grace before a meal. And the beauty is, every cup builds upon the last, weaving together a fabric of resilience that grows stronger with each passing day. But let's not stop there. If you truly want to maximize the benefits of this routine, you can pair these teas with what I call food allies, natural, everyday foods that enhance blood flow and hormone balance. Salmon, rich in omega-3s, keeps your arteries supple. Spinach and beets are loaded with nitrates that boost nitric oxide. Walnuts provide healthy fats that support circulation, while pomegranate is filled with antioxidants that complement the work of green tea. When you place these foods on your plate and these teas in your cup, you are no longer just eating or drinking, you are treating your body with the respect it deserves. I've seen men transform their lives with this approach, not because they stumbled upon some magic cure, but because they committed to simple, consistent actions that rebuild their foundation. A cup in the morning, a cup in the afternoon, a cup in the evening. A plate filled with foods that support life instead of draining it. These choices may look small, but over time, they create a body that is resilient, responsive, and capable of intimacy in ways many men thought they had lost forever. And here's the truth that excites me most. When you adopt this routine, you're not just fixing a problem, you're reclaiming a lifestyle. You're taking back control over something deeply personal and deeply meaningful. That is the power of the 3T routine. But there's one more thing I want you to hold on to, because while routines and remedies are important, the real victory comes when you understand the deeper message of erectile dysfunction. It isn't just about tea or food or biology, it's about listening to your body's call for change. And when you answer that call, something extraordinary happens. In the conclusion, I'll share exactly what that means and why the journey you're about to begin is so much bigger than just stronger erections. 7. Conclusion. Erectile dysfunction is not a life sentence. It is a message from your body, a quiet signal asking for support. Over the years, I've seen countless men believe their best days were behind them, only to discover that with small, consistent changes, vitality can return. We've talked about how green tea cleans your arteries and frees your testosterone, how ginseng restores stamina and calms stress, and how hibiscus lowers blood pressure and prepares your body for deep, healing sleep. Together, these 3 T's form a daily rhythm that supports circulation, hormones, nerves, and rest, the very foundation of male performance. Add in the right foods, and suddenly you're not just fighting dysfunction, you're rebuilding strength and confidence from the inside out. I've watched men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s reclaim intimacy, energy, and joy by adopting this simple practice. And the truth is, it's not about chasing youth. It's about giving your body the care it needs at this stage of life. So don't accept decline as inevitable. Start with 1 cup today, and let that choice ripple into a future where you feel alive, confident, and connected again.